What's up guys, Marco here and welcome to today's video where I help you with how to sell high-ticket products. We all know it, high-ticket products are just way more profitable and way better than these $5, $10, $15 item. Usually those who are really killing it with Shopify or with e-commerce are those that make at least $100 or $80 or something like that per order. Now, of course, this isn't always the case, and there are people absolutely crushing it with $10, $15, $20 items, but usually it's way easier actually to get a lot of sales and especially a lot of profit with these high ticket items. So in this video, I want to share 5 tips that are very useful when you want to start your high ticket store. So stay with me and I'm sure that you will get a ton of value out of these 5 tips to start your high ticket e-commerce business.
I grew tired of that. I grew eyes on my back. They drew iron when I drew rhymes. So who's firing back? Told myself, keep your mind on them raps. Knowing damn well this shit's.
Alright, so let's get right into it. And the first tip that I want to share with you today is that you have to source correctly. When you do high ticket selling, things are entirely different than, for example, when you sell $5 items. In this case, it's not that important that the quality is great because customers don't really care. They don't really care if the product isn't perfect. So the first thing you should keep in mind is, if possible, source your products locally. Because let's say if you sell to customers in the United States, when you source your products in the United States as well, everything just gets way easier. Shipping is faster, you normally have some actual warranty from the supplier that you can actually use as well, and you don't have to somehow ship them back to China, which doesn't really work out in the practical world. So source locally if possible. Especially this means that communication with the supplier is easier. Normally the whole thing, the whole shipment is easier because things like import fees and all these kind of things and customs don't really apply in this case. So it's a very good idea, especially because the price doesn't really matter. So if you sell a product for $400, it doesn't really matter if you buy it for $200 or $150. I rather take the $200, but everything is then way easier for me. Express shipping is absolutely mandatory. When you source your product from China, for example, and you don't have express shipping, the customer at some point may get very nervous. Let's imagine you buy an item for $300 and it says, you will get the item somewhere between in 3 days and 30 days or something. So if you offer products that are very expensive, make sure that you have the express shipping option at least available, but I would recommend to always include it and say free shipping, free express shipping. Now, of course, there are some limits to it. If you sell like gigantic couches or something, express shipping may cost you a few $100s, but normally if you have smaller items, express shipping may cost you $10, $20, $30, and from my experience, it's definitely worth it. When we were selling a lot of very expensive items that could easily cost $400, $500 sales price, we were using express shipping every single time, even though we paid around $100 for the time we drop ship them until we actually source them locally. So make sure that this is something to take into consideration. And also, a general tip for sourcing, but it's especially useful when it comes to high ticket, is small lightweight items are normally better than big heavy ones. So because of the express shipping thing, it's already clear why this is the case. If you have a small lightweight item, it's much easier to ship it with express shipping. Also, it's much easier to return it, and just everything gets a little bit easier when the product is lightweight and easily shippable. When it's big and heavy, prices go up, something can break more easily normally. So keep this in mind when you want to sell high ticket stuff. The next thing is samples, and I know that people always hate to buy samples because effectively it's a loss in the first moment, but in the long run, if you buy samples and if you know that the quality of a product is good, this is something that will absolutely benefit your business. And when you buy samples, you can make sure that you didn't buy from an entirely wrong supplier. So if you buy the wrong product and the first 10 customers all say that this product is crap, then of course it's pretty bad for you. But if you make sure that you bought at least one sample, this will absolutely benefit your business. So get a sample if you just have one or very few products. Obviously, if you sell hundreds or thousands of products, this isn't really practical. But if you have one product store or maybe just 3 to 5 products, especially high ticket, and here of course it depends on how high your budget is, but especially with high ticket, make sure that you at least viewed the product once. If you cannot buy it, then at least ask for a video with the product in action. So this is the least thing that you should really do. Yeah, one-time packaging. This is a very exciting and interesting topic, because if I were you, when I do high ticket selling, I would ask for a one-time packaging, even though this may be expensive. So what do I mean with that? Well, normally, even though you buy an expensive item, the boxes which they ship in are normally very boring, very simple. And customers, when they buy something expensive, they expect some good value, and they expect that the value that you bring them, you know, there is something called perceived value. And if they see a very boring gray box where your product comes in, probably it's a little damaged, immediately the whole buying experience gets worse. And you want to avoid that, because if you have great packaging and a great user experience, basically, or buyer experience, they don't care that much about the product anymore. Of course, it's still expensive, but let's say they care a little less if the product is great or not, as long as the whole experience around it was great. So what I would ask for is a cool package that fits your product. So if you sell something luxurious, I'd ask for a cool, like, black and kind of classy box. Normally they can source it, because most of these suppliers are somewhere in Shenzhen or so. So normally they have hundreds of factories nearby, and it's pretty easy for them to just get a better box. This may be quite expensive because you just get one single box, but I mean, if you sell a product for a few $100s, paying maybe even a few dollars for a box isn't that much, and can make a great impact on your customer. Then I would ask something like, can you add this piece of paper in it? This is what I was doing as well, adding a piece of paper right from my supplier with, you know, some notes, my logo, and also some graphics, quite nicely designed, so that the customer experience improves. Of course, you can also buy stuff to put in there, but this is really the next step. Also, of course, to bring it to the next step, after that, is that you can make or pre-order full custom packaging. So once you saw that, you know, you made 2, 3, 5 sales with your high ticket item already, this may be the point where you want to get full custom packaging. And many people always think that this means you should stop dropshipping, but this isn't really the case. You can still dropship and basically store your packages at the facility of your supplier, because basically you pre-order this packaging, and then the supplier goes ahead, puts one product in the box, puts another product in the box. And this is a great way to still keep dropshipping and not to need any warehouse or upfront investments. You only need the upfront investment for the packaging, and this is normally something that the supplier does without any problems. Yeah, you see it already. Support. This is super important, and I can't emphasize this enough. You should answer any questions or any inquiries within 24 hours the latest. If someone buys an expensive item, I know from experience that these people get very nervous, like I said before, and if they don't get a reply, you know, some of them will just ask for a refund, or they will just do a chargeback just because they didn't hear from you for one day. And I don't remember how many sales I've lost because of bad support, when, you know, we were so busy that we couldn't answer everything in time. But if I would do it again, definitely I would either get someone to do that, or I would really focus on support, because especially when it gets expensive, people expect that, and you cannot just take like 3 days for an answer. Sometimes if you're really busy and it doesn't really work out, okay, one day, this is something that most people can wait if they really have to, but it's definitely a better experience if you answer within a few hours. 12 hours should be something to aim for, which is really good for your customer relationship. And of course, help with any issue. There are some business owners I know that, you know, once they get a question that is not that comfortable, or, you know, someone asks them for, I don't know, getting some kind of coupon, or getting part of the money back because something is broken or whatever. Help with any issue and try to solve it. There is nothing worse than a customer opening a claim or asking you a question and you're not responding, or you try to avoid it, because normally what happens next is that if you're lucky, they send you another mail, but if you're not, they will just go ahead and ask for a chargeback refund, and this will get you into trouble with PayPal, Stripe, or whatever you are using. So help with any issue, and of course you cannot just solve everything immediately, but at least try to do so, and you will see that this will absolutely benefit your business. And always have tracking available. This is super important. If you don't have tracking available, again, here we are at the nervous part again. People will just wonder when the package comes. They will send you a ton of emails, and if you're unlucky, they will just chargeback because, you know, they're waiting too long for the package and they spend quite a lot of money. So always have tracking available. Last but not least, still fight for every order, of course. If you sell $10 items, it's not that important because you just say, well, instead of just dealing with this whole stress, I will just give you the refund and that's done. But if you sell items for $400, $500, you should be very polite with everything, help with every question, but in the end, still fight for every order. And this is something that is important to really maintain your long-term profit because else things really get a little more complicated if you don't do it the right way. Yeah, the last tip I want to give you today, in this video, we will definitely do more stuff on high ticket items because it's getting really, really interesting in this space. Consider payment plans. Payment plans increase conversion simply because people, you know, you might really wonder, but there are people who literally don't have $500 right now. They need to split it into like 3, 4, 5 monthly payments. And even though it doesn't really make sense from a rational point of view because they end up spending at least the same amount, normally more, it's definitely something that increases conversions. So when your product is at least, I would say, probably $200 or $300, then I would start thinking about payment plans. So if you have a $300 product, probably you would get payment plans of 3 times 105 or 110. Normally it depends on the payment provider you work with and they set the terms, but sometimes you can also do it yourself and say, I want to get this payment, and you can just do it that way. So consider payment plans to increase conversions and reduce customer anxiety. Like I said, it's not really rational because in the end they have to still pay the same amount. But if they see that they just have to pay $90 today instead of $300 or $400, it's typically an easier decision. So in the end, just increasing conversions, but it reduces customer anxiety and it really helps these customers to buy something that they probably wouldn't buy otherwise. So this is another great way to deal with it. So guys, these were my 5 tips on high ticket selling. I hope that you liked them. If you did, please smash that like button and subscribe to this channel for more e-commerce content, especially focused now also on high ticket selling, Google AdWords, Facebook ads, and all the good stuff. If you didn't check it out so far, I released the free mini course to the eCom PPC Academy, eCom PPC Academy Lite, where you get 3 training videos on how to use Google AdWords and Google Shopping. It's entirely free, no sales pitch, no sales webinar. You can just get started, and the link is in the description. Like I said, eCom PPC Academy Lite. This is basically, yeah, like the name says already, the light version of my real AdWords course, which you can also get because until like 3 days or until the end of May, 2 days, we still run a promotion for the eCom PPC Academy. And another great announcement, now we have a full month of Pagefly Premium, which is a great landing page creation tool in the course as well. So if you get the eCom PPC Academy, you will automatically get 30 days of free access to Pagefly Premium, which helps you to design beautiful landing pages that really convert better than normal simple Shopify themes, especially if you don't have the money to upgrade to some greater themes. So guys, as I said, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.